Bienvenidos a Generación Latina, and this is our last show of the year. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, which is all about Christmas, reminded me of that song by Jose Feliciano, who I've actually had the pleasure to meet. And it goes, Feliz Navidad, right? Everybody knows that song, and it's actually mainstream. But I find it really annoying, so don't hate me for it. But, it just kind of brings something to mind. We're here in the United States, growing up Latinos, and also with just discovering new traditions, right? So we come from families that come with their Latin American traditions to this country and yet begin to adopt new ones that begin to form our new identities. So that's something that I really wanted to touch on today. And for that, I want to welcome our guest and also Marcus, who is co-hosting with me today. So welcome. Welcome back.
Well, I guess I can say I'm back.
Oh, that's right.
It's great to be back on the show this time, not as a guest, but as a co-host of it. Yeah,
that's
so thank
right.
you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome. And Rita, you are here in a beautiful dress, but not from today, not today's fashion, right?
No.
So tell us a little bit about what you're wearing. What is this about? And maybe you can. It'll all become clear why I brought you here today.
Well, this dress is for the Nutcracker. I'm in it this year at the Only Ballet Theater, and this is the dress of Clara, which is the main role. And so I'm here in this dress to tell about the Nutcracker and my Christmas and my experiences.
Awesome. So as we talk about, the experience of Christmas and how we celebrate, as for me, I can say, I haven't really had any one tradition that I've kept over the years. So I'm more of like a non-traditional person, and mostly because, being immigrants in this country, our family, it was difficult to keep traditions. Like, we would always get invited to different families, that would host us, that knew that maybe we couldn't afford to have a Christmas or something, and then they would have us over, and so we would get to see different traditions from different families. So there's really not one tradition, but there is one memory that I kept from growing up in Ecuador, which was when my abuelita would take me on a novena, right? Which actually in Mexico, I just found out, is called like posada. And this tradition was about going to different houses every night. On a different night, we would go to somebody else's house, and we would sing villancicos and, Christmas carols, and, we would have hot chocolate, whatever it might be. But, it's funny, like, I thought this was unique to Ecuador, and then I come to realize, like, Mexico has a very similar tradition. So it was awesome to learn that. I don't know, what about for you, Marcos, what, traditions you have around this time?
I mean, growing up in El Salvador, for Christmas, during that time of the year, I was so fascinated by the idea of playing with real fireworks, which in, actually in El Salvador, they're more like small-scale dynamite.
Yeah.
You light the fuse, light it up, and boom.
Like the ones from, like, cartoons.
Yeah, like
right?
the one, like cartoons. You can actually, it's like playing with dynamite, basically. We call it pólvora in that respect. But moving over here to the United States, it becomes more, less violent, you should say. No more pólvora, nothing of that, but it's more of a dinner, family situation. I personally don't celebrate Christmas.
What?
Really, I mean, just because,
Are you a Grinch?
I'm not a Grinch. I don't have anything against it. I just, decided, what, let me research the historical aspects of it. Even you can actually say, the Pope kind of agrees to that now with his new book he just came out with, saying that, even Jesus Christ's actual date might actually be wrong. So you never know.
When he was born.
Yeah, where he was born might actually be wrong. Apparently, there was some miscalculations based on a 6th century priest. It miscalculated the whole date by a few years. And the book just came out a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact. So I personally don't celebrate it, but I think the atmosphere of it is very cheering. It's very happy. And you should say, I love seeing the Nutcracker. I took ballet last year. And I love the Nutcracker. It's one of my favorite ones. One of the popular ones as well.
See,
too.
this is why I love having him on the show. He just breaks all these stereotypes. I'm thinking you're this really joyful Latino guy, goes to college, whatever. And you come and you tell me you don't celebrate Christmas and you took ballet. I mean, Would you have thought that about him?
No.
I like the food though.
You like the food? Okay, so you'll take that part of the celebration.
I take that part of the celebration, yeah.
Well, Rhea, so tell us more about the Nutcracker. I mean, this is, this is actually from Europe. Like, I think it's a Russian ballet?
It's a German ballet.
German, okay, great.
Go ahead.
But, so, the whole story of the Nutcracker, it takes place in the 1800s in Germany. This was the style back then, as you can see from my dress. And it's about a young girl named Clara, who on Christmas Eve receives a nutcracker from her godfather. And then all the party guests leave, and at midnight, all the toys come to life. And there's a battle between the Rat King and the Nutcracker, and they have their little minions like soldiers and other rats, because the Nutcracker is under a spell. And so they have this whole big battle, and in the end, Clara kills the Nutcracker, not the Nutcracker, the Rat King, with the help of the Nutcracker. And then the Nutcracker takes her on like a journey through the land of sweets, where she is entertained by many performers, like Spanish dancers that represent chocolate, and there are lots of other ones, but in the end it's all a dream, and she wakes up in her living room with the Nutcracker. And
this is great, and you get to take this kind of like protagonist role. So where can we see you? I'd love to actually try to come see you, and if not, maybe your guests can come and see you.
Well, the Nutcracker is at the Olney Theater in Olney. It's in the historical stage. There's a larger stage, but we have a smaller stage that we use. And we had performances last weekend, and we have performances coming up this weekend.
Leading up to Christmas, right?
Leading up to
Christmas Eve.
Is the last show, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I wish you the best. And tell us, like, if we can, if you want to highlight like one tradition that you love about, your family growing up in a Latino Venezuelan family, right? But also being American. What is it for you?
Well, probably my favorite tradition would have to be that every year my dad and I and my whole family, we work on a pesebre, which is basically a nativity scene. But they're not just like, the little stable and Mary and Joseph and Jesus, but it's big and it has like scenery and a bunch of other characters. And so every year it's different, and we make it really big. That's probably my favorite tradition that we have.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, and I definitely hope as many people can go and see this performance. It's not only, beautiful to watch, you appreciate the music, the ballet. I'm sure you will appreciate the ballet, having taken classes.
I will appreciate the ballet, yeah.
Yeah, but also just to, educate ourselves. I mean, this is kind of a cultural staple of Christmas. There's plenty of other traditions. The Trans-Siberian Orchestra is another amazing show that I got to see last year, which is all lights and music and kind of like rock music, but it's all Christmas. So it's really cool. Anyway, there's plenty of those to watch and see in the area. So stay back. We'll be right back and continue to discuss all these Christmas traditions as we are growing up Latinos in America.
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups. So always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
So hello everybody, welcome back to Generación Latina. We were just talking about Christmas and learning about the Nutcracker. So now we're going to have one of my closest friends, William Ruiz, who is going to talk to us about his Christmas traditions. And as a matter of fact, he's actually going back to El Salvador, one of the lucky ones. He gets to go back to El Salvador and experience the whole Christmas and end of the year tradition. So welcome to Generación Latina, William.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much for actually having me here as your guest. And yes, actually this is the first time in 14 years that I'll be going back to El Salvador and actually celebrate Christmas the way I used to celebrate it when I was a child.
Which is?
What does it feel like?
Which was, since 1998, and now it's going to be totally different. And basically, for Christmas, we Salvadorians, and probably the rest of the world, we tend to celebrate the birth of our Savior, Jesus, basically. And we did in our home, we always have a Christmas tree, and we did have a Christmas tree in El Salvador. And we kind of share the same traditions with American tradition because we do share gift during that holiday. But what makes it different is that in El Salvador at 12 o'clock, we actually throw fireworks. And that is one of the things that I missed for so many years, and this is the first time I'll get to do it again.
And how would you describe the fireworks? Because over here in the U.S., when we talk about fireworks, we think about 4th of July.
Yeah, the 4th of July. Well, similar to those. I mean, I know in Maryland it's illegal to actually throw fireworks outside of your house, but I know in Virginia they do it. They do it very well. It's a similar, but we don't do it during our Independence Day. We do it usually during Christmas.
The month of December.
During the month of December, exactly. So, let's say Christmas was today. By this time of the day, it's probably 3 p.m. We'll be shopping with my dad at the market, getting all the fireworks. The Chinese fireworks is probably the best. And I miss those. They're pretty expensive, but this year we're having a different kind of Christmas. We're actually going to the beach, and since El Salvador is hot weather, we're going to celebrate. We're going to rent a cabin, and we're going to throw fireworks in there, and we're probably going to exchange gifts in there. So it's going to be a different Christmas, but I hope to enjoy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let me actually share what some of my, I had like an informal, question out there. What do people appreciate most? What do they miss maybe most about Christmas? So I had, Christina from Arlington. She's Peruvian, Puerto Rican, and she said that making and drinking coquito is like her favorite thing. Have you guys ever had this?
Coquito.
I had coconut.
Coconut.
I have coconut juice.
Well, coconut,
It's the water.
That's different. Okay, I think it might be made out of coconut. I don't know. Puerto Ricans, I'm sorry, I do not know. Therefore, invite me, right? Invite me so I can learn. Now, Lisette from New Jersey, she said, she's Cuban American. She said that eating lechon is good. And let me tell you, I have had that family's lechon specifically is excellent. So if any of this sounds familiar, let me know. But I think this is one of the coolest things is that being in the United States, we can actually enjoy and partake in other Latin American traditions, which is awesome. So Anna from Lorton, she's Bolivian. She loves pastelitos. I'm sure we each have our own. Luis Borunda, who's actually a guest on the show recently and this year, from Baltimore. So he's Mexican. He said tamales and menudo. Have you guys ever had that?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We have tamales like every weekend. Yeah.
Nice.
People.
Every weekend. All right, so it's not like that. And Maria Luz, she's in New York City. She's from Argentina. She said that La Misa Criolla is de Ariel Ramirez is like her favorite thing, which I thought was cool because a lot of people have mentioned, and this is pretty much what I think defines a Latino Christmas is, going to Mass or church and at midnight, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something that, and then opening up presents, right? Immediately after. So I think that's the cool thing is we get to, do it early, stay up, and that anticipation always builds up as opposed to having to wait till the morning of the 25th. So anyway, that I thought was pretty cool, just kind of asking around some of our viewers and friends. Now tell me, what did you think of Marcos, who actually said he does not celebrate Christmas, which I think he's a loser for that.
I think he's a Grinch.
You think he's a Grinch? Thank you.
I definitely don't have the smile. It doesn't go that far.
I don't know.
It's kind of close. Just wait a few more years. Actually, some people actually, I know some people in El Salvador don't celebrate Christmas.
So this is the interesting thing is that Marcos is coming from a historical perspective. That Jesus may not have been born in December. Actually, I think he was born in July. People have said that he was born in July, April. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking Christmas in July. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, there's other celebrations or just other in general festivities about Christmas. The whole family gathering, drinking, eating. that have been much more of a pagan tradition over the years in Rome, right, and in the Middle Ages, and things that just might have been established by the church in general, but not necessarily like, Christmas, like traditions because of, or surrounding the birth of Jesus necessarily. So I think that was, I'll give you that. I will.
Thank you very much. Yeah, in that respect. But to, to be clear, that's certainly, over the ages now, in modern times, the Christmas has become a more family tradition. People love to get together. People celebrate it just because, they love to get together with their families. So it's a really nice time for people.
Yes, and you take that part in.
I'll take that.
Yeah. So now, tell me before we close the segment, I do want to hear, William, just what is one way? Because obviously, you can't do the whole fireworks thing. To me, to a lot of people in this country, they would think you guys are a little crazy for doing that. So probably good that it's outside of the law. But if you could, maintain some Christmas tradition or a meaning about, Navidad here in the United States for the rest of your life that you will pass on to your family, what would it be?
I think that's a very good question. I think basically staying together with your loved ones and always remembering where you come from. And I grew up with that thing. I grew up with family getting together during the time of Christmas to celebrate the birth of our Savior. And that's one of the things that I want to pass on to my kids and my grandkids and so on. And that's just it. I think it's something very special. I think it's a very special time of the year that I celebrate it. And of course, we also, Salvadorans, have a special dish for that day, and that is arroz en leche with canela, with cinnamon.
Oh, arroz con leche.
Yeah,
right?
with cinnamon. Cinnamon actually gives the Christmas, it identifies it as Christmas. So I think it's great to have that, especially when you're with your family. So
cool.
I think that's one of the things that I want to pass on.
Awesome. Any shout-outs to people before you take off and go to El Salvador? I guess you'll be there for celebrating quite a while, right?
Yes, just before I leave, I want to say everyone, have a Merry Christmas, and I hope, everyone stays together and
be safe.
Yeah, especially during this time of, and no, the world is not going to end on the 21st. And yeah,
I think the Mayans ran out of luck.
Yeah. They live right near us, so we should make fun of that.
Well, come back to us.
We're Mayans too, so
Well, I really hope you bring me something from El Salvador.
I will bring everyone in the show if I get to see you. So
you heard that.
I will bring everyone in the show. Everyone who's here, I'll bring something. I'll keep you guys in mind.
Awesome.
And I'll probably be watching the show in El Salvador.
Hey, so. Really well. Yeah, you can. That's right. You can. You really could. Yeah, right. Yeah. We're on YouTube. Check us out on our channel, and and we'll be right back. Thank you guys for the conversation. We have more traditions to discuss, so we'll be right back. Welcome back here on Generación Latina. We are continuing this lively discussion of our Latino traditions this Christmas. So, back to you, Marcos, and welcome, Stephen. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and actually, we were kind of explaining to you, Marcos, sort of how we met. So I definitely would love to hear more about this charity or just outreach effort called Every Day is Christmas. All credit to Dennis Castañeda, who organizes and plans. He's like the heart of it. But you know, kind of just to explain the little penguin on you, by the way.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
looking at that, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely all credit to Dennis. He started Every Day's Christmas, and I don't know if the Grinch over here would like that, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, he is really into helping families out, and they do different events for Thanksgiving, making baskets for families, and for Christmas, this having an event where you could have all of these gifts sold for ridiculously inexpensive. And then also trying to outreach to the community. We were talking either about budgeting or about school savings, housing, legal protection. Just the kind of things that, families don't really want to talk about, or we just never get around to, So it's a really, really great movement, and, every single way that he can, it's just helping people as the seasons go by. And it's a lot of fun helping, too.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming out and helping out with that. I definitely had a lot of fun. Yeah. And it was great to see so many kids, kind of look at the toys that were there, and, parents actually feeling like they can buy gifts, right? I mean, if they're really inexpensive. But I just love the idea. So, again, you can check it out at Everyday's Christmas. They're on Facebook, and, we'll definitely be referring to them on our blog on generacionlatina.org. But now, I know you have your own personal background and Latin American traditions. So tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Well, and it's interesting too because it kind of started fading as time goes by. Only recently did I start trying to rediscover it, because when I was exposed to it being really, really young, I didn't really understand what was going on. And we used to have this tradition where on Christmas Eve we also open a present at midnight. Not like wait for the next morning or things like that. But as opposed to being focused on Santa. The night before, we would have a baby doll for, being baby Jesus, and we would hold him in the blanket. Now, we wouldn't hold him, we would just hold the blanket up, and depending how many people, we would all stand around the blanket and hold him up and be singing, really long, like, lullaby towards Jesus. And it was all just about us being together around him, rejoicing that, our Savior's here, and celebrating together, and lifting him up, as, we want to lift our hearts up, and as, one day we'll lift up to be with him as well. So, and sometimes my family's really big. If we would be like jam-packed with a lot of people, they'd send more of the kids in, or you could only fit one hand in holding on the blanket, and we'd all be standing in a big circle.
I guess you need like a king-size blanket, right?
Yeah, it's Latinos, big families, but yeah, my family especially very, very large.
Okay, so what is your background?
I'm half Mexican, half Peruvian, actually, so. Born and raised in California, so I don't know how you Maryland people get used to all the cold, things like that.
You get used to it.
We have a choice.
I mean, I hope so. I guess so. But I didn't know my bones could shake. I thought you would just shiver, but it's really, really interesting.
They do.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even know if that's more Mexican or Central American, but I noticed growing up in California, there was a lot of kids that were just focused on Santa. Focused on just presents, and it wasn't so family-oriented. And what I really like that, even if you don't have a Christmas tradition, it's good to be around the family, have quality time together. So, and I do think when you're talking about the dates wrong, I think that is technically true, but I think one of the best things about having a mentality about maybe, if every day is Christmas, every day we should be rejoicing. Yeah. Every day we should be thankful.
Exactly.
And
every day we should be helping families around the community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. I love it. I think absolutely we should definitely find ways. It's so easy to get caught up in the gifts, like you were saying, and even maybe not even for yourself, but in other people. We have this mentality that everything that people might give us, we have to return the favor, right? Or that if I'm going to give something, then I wonder what they're going to give me back, and that that becomes we get completely wrapped up in that. And forget, what Christmas is really about, right? And yes, every day is Christmas, and we can remember every day that that Jesus was born, and that this is something to celebrate. I mean, that's really what it's about. So I absolutely, just thank you for the way that you're helping out the community. There's many people doing, many other things. One really cool thing that I discovered recently, actually on Twitter, was an organization called Hope Mob or something like that. I can't remember the name right now. But what they do is it's using like crowdsourcing around different causes. So let's say you post a specific cause that you care about, and then you get other people to care about it too, and just spread the word about it and raise funds. So currently, there's obviously a lot of causes rising around the tragedy in Connecticut, which we will definitely be thinking about and praying about during this Christmas and this holiday season. It's very difficult, but you know, there's just a lot out there that we can do, even just from sitting in our desk, right? I mean, many ways in which we can be spreading just good news around people and encouraging other people. And really, you know, it doesn't have to just wait till the 24th and the 25th. So, Marcus, I don't know if you wanted to share anything else or anything, you know, as we close before.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask him a question. How can I get involved?
Yeah.
Get involved? Just get in touch. You know, just get in touch with me, Dennis. There's a lot of events going as time goes by.
How can our audience get involved in that?
Yeah, go to Every Day is Christmas
On Facebook?
on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, okay.
Just Dennis is really, really great. He'll get back to you, you know, if he happens to be busy, and definitely really good at sending you information, prepping you, and not only receiving the help, but explaining what it's going to specifically go for and things like that. So.
And you guys do really fun things. You were mentioning there was like a survivor.
Oh yeah, I was intrigued.
Yeah. When I
the
first
people compete for the baskets. That's not it.
No. I actually didn't help for the Thanksgiving when they made baskets. But he also has different challenges as time goes by. We had the Survivor Challenge, so it was Survivor themed. You know the show, and you know you vote people off and things like that. It was very physical. You know, there was these games where we would be wrestling for a basketball or you know tug of war type of mentality. And you get two teams, and after every round, you know, one team wins, and there's a champion, a medal, and the team votes for people to go up for at the end. And that was just for fun. That was just for fun. Well, to participate, you had to make a donation, you know, $20. It was just on average. Some people donate a lot more, but so that we could have fun while we're donating to help other families and things like that. And at the very end, the last challenge was, you know, me sitting about a little farther than we're sitting right now and throwing an egg and trying to crack it on your forehead. And so I was covered in yolk. Real egg? Oh, yes. The problem was being in Maryland, it was so cold, the eggs were half frozen. So there'd be an egg bouncing off your head after I threw it. So, but at the end of the day, we were covered in yolk, but, it was all good fun. It was really good times.
That sounds awesome.
We should do that when it's 30 degrees outside.
Yeah. And you know what? Anybody can start, right? Just set up fun games and activities and just make it a fundraiser. I mean, really, that's what I always want to encourage students to do that. In their school, in your community, if you notice a need around you and you find that a family needs money or anything like that, and certainly there's a lot of opportunities just globally that we can support. There's a lot that we can do. So thank you both. One last word as we take off and go to our mall and go worry about shopping for gifts, right?
Yeah. Wow, I still need to go buy my gifts. Regardless, I have to buy gifts.
What about my gifts? People. Do you have my gift yet?
I have a big hug for you. I have to go buy it.
You know what? That's enough. That's enough.
I will take it. I'm not that much of a Grinch. I have to buy some gifts.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a white elephant? My family used to do this thing where everybody, like, let's say we have a party with like 20 people, or with your friends, you all buy a gift. There's like a $20, $30 limit or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's mystery gifts. We all draw numbers, and then the order, whatever picks one, we open up a present. But when you go, you can either open up a new present or steal somebody else's presents for the Grinch. And then, every present's allowed to be stolen twice. And so it's kind of fun because some of them are really nice gifts. Some of them are like a pencil sharpener, and you're like, oh, I got stuck with this. But it's a really good time to share and save money. Everyone brings one gift for the party.
I love it. Yeah. More white elephant gifts, let's save money and let's help. So check us out, generacionlatina.org. All these ideas will be on there, and everybody have a wonderful Christmas.